It's good to see you again. Today we're going to work on some sculpture. I know that 3D is something that most of you are really excited about, and that's really, really fun. Kindergartners and first graders, you've done this with me before. Fourth graders and third graders, we looked a little bit at this when we talked about expressive line at the beginning of the year. And we're just going to revisit this, some different things that you can do with just paper. The only things you need for this is a pair of scissors, a bottle of glue. You can use a glue stick if that's what you have. I always like to use bottle glue. I just feel like it sticks a little bit better. It holds a little bit stronger, but glue stick will be totally fine. And some construction paper. If you just have like white paper, you can still do this. You probably just want to color your pieces of paper so that you have some different kinds of colors going on. What we're going to learn about is how we can make this paper go from flat into being a form, which means taking it from being just flat on my piece of paper into standing up, being three-dimensional like a sculpture. Okay, so all I did to get my strips like this was take my scissors and cut the length of my paper. Now I cut long ways, that way I have good long strips. If you want to have shorter strips, you could cut the other direction. The little cheat that I did to actually get a bunch at one time was I took my whole stack of papers and I cut through a whole stack at a time. Now you might want to get a grown-up or a big brother or sister to help you cut all of these stripes. But you can see I cut a whole bunch because my whole family did this project together, so we needed a bunch of strips. When we did this in art class, you'll remember we had like boxes and boxes of these strips of paper so that you had lots of colors and lots of variety to choose from. Now, the three main things that you need to know how to do to make a good paper sculpture is you need to know how to bend, roll, and fold these stripes of paper. So we're going to go through those real quick. Okay, I'm going to start with this pink one right here. Okay, the easiest thing to do is to do the bend. Okay, the bend is how you're going to get like a rainbow curve. So here's what I do. I always fold the ends and give them like a little tiny foot. This is called a tab. Okay, it's just a little foot. I'm sorry, my light's blinking a little bit. Same thing on this end. I'm going to fold and get a little tab on there. So you can see I've got two little tabs, one on each end. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this one down and I'm going to glue this one down and it's going to make it stand up. I know it's kind of hard, the angle of my camera. I'm going to have to figure that out in a second. Let's see. I'm going to put a little dot of glue right here. Now, kids that have been in my class before, you will know the first thing we do with a glue bottle is we check to make sure it's breathing. So let's check. Yeah, he's breathing. Remember, if he's not breathing through his mouth, that means either there's glue stuck in there or your bottle is still closed. Remember, you turn this part gently. Ooh, I just pulled the top off. You're going to turn that spot gently to open up his mouth. You're going to clear out anything that's stuck in his mouth. Then you should be able to hear him breathing. And you don't want to pour glue from way up high. You want to get that mouth way down close and give your paper a little kiss. Little dot of glue. Same thing on this end. Little dot of glue. I gotta say, it's not nearly as funny when I do that when you guys aren't sitting in the room with me giggling every time I make the smoochy sound. Okay, then I'm gonna set those little tabs down and I'm gonna press and count to 10. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. That's just going to make sure it gets good and stuck. If it's not stuck, press it down, count to 10 Mississippi another time. You really want to make sure that it's good and stuck. That's going to keep it from popping up. We're going to see if we can do something with my camera here real quick. Let's see if we can turn this where you can see it from the side. A little bit. There we go. Okay, so now you can kind of see it from the side. Okay, next thing that we're going to learn how to do is we're going to learn how to do a roll. Okay, a roll is a little bit different. Okay, a roll is you're going to wrap it around your finger like it's a Band-Aid. Okay, so rolling it just means that I am getting my paper turned into a roll, like a cinnamon roll. Okay, so you can see it's rolled around my finger. Sometimes this is a little bit hard. If you want to use a marker or a pencil, something like that, you could do that too. But you want to make sure you roll it nice and tight. If you can see that, it's rolled nice and tight like a Band-Aid around my finger. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a squeeze. Okay, I'm going to squeeze and so that it's nice and tight. And when I let go, watch what happens. Okay, it unrolls on my finger. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can glue this. You could glue it this way and it could just be like a normal little roll, like if you were making a wheel or something. Or, you know, you could give it a little pull here to kind of make it springy, and you could glue it down and it would look like a spiral. Or you could pull that inside piece and you could glue those two inside pieces apart from each other and it makes a curl. That's great if you're trying to make like clouds or hair or something like that. Okay, so there's lots of different ways that you can glue a curl once you've had it wrapped around your finger. Okay, so I'm going to roll mine, I'm going to glue mine down like a curl. So I'm going to put my little glue, and then I'm going to glue those two ends because I want mine to be like a curl. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. Okay, and you can kind of move those around once you've got them stuck. Okay, so now I've got a rolled piece and I've got a bent piece. The other thing that you can do is fold. Now, folds are a little bit tricky because depending on if you're wanting to make a shape or a zigzag, it kind of changes the way that you have to fold. Let's start with the zigzag first. If you've ever folded a fan before, this is the exact same fold. You're going to fold forward, then backward, then forward, then backward. So watch my hands very carefully. Okay, I'm going to fold forward a little bit, kind of like that tab that we did on the rainbow curve. Okay, so I'm going to fold forward, and then I'm going to take that whole piece and fold it backwards. Forward, backward, forward, backward. Now you can see that this tail is getting shorter. Forward, backward, forward, backward. When I run out of pieces, I give it a real good squeeze and then watch what happens. I've got a zigzag. Okay, I'm going to show you that one more time, but I'm going to show you from the side this time. Okay, we're even going to do the same. No, let's do a different color. Okay, this time we're going to do forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward. Okay, once you've got all of those zigzags really nailed down tight like that, when you let go, they're going to turn into a laying down zigzag. Now, there's different ways that you can glue your zigzags. Okay, you can glue a zigzag. Let's say I glue one end down low and one end up high with my glue bottle, okay, and I can glue it like this. If I do this, what does it look like? It looks like little stairs. Isn't that fun? I know. I'll show you my my 4-year-old's project that he did today. He made a staircase that goes over a rainbow for his sculpture this afternoon, and he was very proud of it. He got his little Lego minifigs and was making them go up and down the stairs. Thought it was great. Another thing you can do with your zigzags is if you're making like grass or a little star, like a little explosion, you can kind of move your zigzag around and figure out how you want them to glue to do stuff like that. Now, these are just kind of the basic things to do with those stripes of paper. Okay, again, the bend, the roll, and the fold. Oh, forgot I was going to show you shapes. Let me show you shapes real quick before that falls out of my brain. Okay, a shape. Let's say I wanted to make a standing triangle. Remember, we're not making anything flat. We're making things that stand up because this is a sculpture. To make a triangle, you've got to do how many folds or how many corners that your shape has. So how many corners does a triangle have? It has 3, which means I need to make 3 folds. Now, I know when we did the zigzag, we went forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward. When we're doing a triangle, when we're making a shape, we only fold forward because we want our shape to close up. So here's what it looks like. Okay, I'm doing 3 corners for a triangle. So I'm going to fold 1 time forward, and then I'm going to fold a 2nd time forward, and then I'm going to fold a 3rd time forward. When I have folded 3 times, I will have 4 sections. Well, that doesn't make sense because that makes a square, except here's what you do. You glue the two sides together. Boom, you've got a triangle. Let me open that up and show you again. You've got 1, 2, 3 folds. So that means this bottom extra side is going to glue to that first side and turn into a triangle. And if you slide them farther apart, you can see the triangle gets shorter and longer. If you glue them closer together, it gets taller. Just depends on where you glue them. Okay, so I'm going to give this a little kiss. And then I'm going to give my paper a little kiss. Let's get my sculpture back. And then I can glue that in and count to 10 Mississippi. Now, this is a great sculpture to make, just putting different lines and shapes together and practicing doing bending, rolling, and folding. If you want to just practice those and make this, it can look really awesome. It can even start to look kind of like a little playground for a bug or for your minifig like my son did. But if you really want to push it, you can start trying to make things that actually look like something. So you can cut smaller pieces, you can cut wider pieces, you can find the colors that you need to make all sorts of different things. First graders and kindergartners, you guys had practice with this during art class, and I saw people making trees with birds and apples in them, people making the water with different kinds of sea creatures in them, lots of rainbows. I saw lots of cupcakes. You guys all remember making that where we use the rainbow curves over and over. I'm going to try to find some copies of those pictures and post them with this video so you can kind of get a reminder of what that looked like. But I wanted to show you the ones that my family made today because I have a 4-year-old. I have a 6-year-old. He's a first grader. And I have a 10-year-old, his birthday's tomorrow, actually today when you're watching this, and he's a 4th grader. And then my husband and I worked together and we made one too. So I want to show you what they look like. Okay, so let me grab those. Let's see. Okay, we'll start with the 4-year-olds, okay? This is my 4-year-olds. Okay, so you can see he made a rainbow. Now the trick with the rainbow is that your curves can't all be the same length. That means the purple curve has to be a shorter strip. The blue one is a little bit longer. The green one's a little bit longer. The yellow one's even longer. Orange is longer. Red is the longest. That's going to make them separate from each other. That's a little bit tricky, but you can do it. Kindergarten, we did that together during art class. You can also see that, you know, he kind of came up with his own thing after we got the rainbow put together, and he made zigzag stairs that go all the way across. This is what I was telling you. He would take his minifig and go up and over. He also made this little pink thing and this little black thing. And when I asked him what they were, he said they're mini trampolines so that you can bounce and jump over the rainbow and land on the other one. So I really liked that. Moms and dads, your kids will come up with some really creative things if you just give them some paper to bend and fold and glue together. So that's something to look towards. My first grader, he made this one. Okay, and he said, I know his is kind of floppy. His wasn't standing up so good. His, he said, is a playground. And so he's got this tunnel. Let me show you. He's got this tunnel to crawl through right here where you crawl underneath the rainbow, through the triangle, and through the square that are getting kind of wonky. Over here, he's got a staircase and a slide. And then he said this is a blue bed, I believe. He has a video that goes with it. I'll post that goes with it. And then X marks the spot. He's very big on treasure hunting, so he puts an X that's the secret spot to dig inside of the playground. And my 4th grader. My 4th grader does not like to play by the rules. He likes to come up with his own plan. So he made the Superman symbol. And if you push it just right, it will actually stand up. There it goes. Okay, so he made the Superman symbol that stands up by itself. And you can see he kind of made his own little stand that helps it to stay propped up. And he wrote the words Superman on it because that's what he likes. He loves superheroes. And last is me and Mr. Varney. We made a zoo. Mr. Varney started it off on his own. You can see he even made the word zoo. Do you see that right there? He made the word zoo inside this little sign. And then I saw him building, and he was making this lion right here. Can you see the lion? Okay, he drew a little face on it. Okay, but I saw that he was making this little mane and that he had rolled his paper to kind of make this lion's body. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And then he was like, hey, Mrs. Varney, can we work on an elephant? And so I built the elephant's body and feet, and Mr. Varney built the ears and the trunk. And then we put him together. And then my 6-year-old, my first grader, he made this hippopotamus. Okay, and you can see he's in the water. And then last, my 6-year-old and I built this little penguin to stick in the middle. So now we've got this really cool zoo sculpture that we all worked on together. So that could be something even that you do with your family, is make a sculpture together, work together. It's a great idea. So I hope you guys have fun building a paper sculpture. Post some pictures, show me what you got, and I'll talk to you later this week. Bye, Mavs.